What's up, y'all, and welcome to Cryptiduniversity. First, I would like to thank everybody for coming to my channel and listening to these stories. I have some amazing stories in store for us today. Let's hop right in. The first one comes from a person in Virginia who encounters a humongous Bigfoot that comes rolling from under a trampoline. Let's check out the story. Back in 2012, when I was 13 years old, I was at a friend's birthday party in Central Virginia. There were 7 of us, so we went out to play night tag later that day. We had 2 or 3 flashlights to use, and we played in the friend's front yard, and after 30 minutes, we were searching for the last friend who was still hiding. The last place we checked was the trampoline, which was about 50 feet from the front porch. We shined a flashlight at the trampoline, but we didn't see anything, so we looked underneath, and that's when we saw it. At first, I thought it was our friend because it had a human-like face, but after a second, I knew it wasn't him. It then rolled out from underneath the trampoline and stood up on the other side. It was around 9.5 feet tall and had reddish brown hair and used its hand to cover its face from our flashlights. Being the tallest of my friends at the time, even I was terrified as I looked it up and down. After 5 seconds of staring, we could hear our friend who we were looking for. He was on the front porch and yelled when he saw us and the creature confronting each other. And at that point, we hauled ass back to the house and we both closed the door as hard as we could. I don't remember the rest of the story that night except for the dog, which was a Great Dane, but oddly enough, he was cuddled up in the corner the entire night. Wow. That's an amazing story. I can imagine being outside and, just playing and all of a sudden looking under a trampoline and experiencing a Sasquatch. And not just a Sasquatch, a 9.5 foot Sasquatch. Man, amazing story. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this next story is from somebody from Durham, North Carolina. I'm not going to assume that what I saw was an actual cryptid, but I've spent nearly 4 hours trying to figure out what it could be, and I've come up with nothing except moose. And this is way too far south to have been a moose. It was probably 100 feet ahead of me, loping out of the woods like a dog would lope through the snow. It was almost black except for enormous reflective eyes that were the size of dinner plates glowing back at me. It had thin legs like a deer, but was easily twice my size, covered in long matted fur, and it had the face of a dog and a tail that extended probably 2 feet behind it. It almost looked like it was grimacing as it moved, like I caught it when it was the most vulnerable. It didn't slow down though, loping the full width of the street in maybe 5 hops before disappearing among more trees. I text my neighbor and he joked that it's a dogalope, but honestly, I just don't know. I just wanted to know if anyone else has ever seen anything like this. Thank you all very much for the suggestions. It was definitely not a moose, and I don't think it was an elk, although that was a really great suggestion. It wasn't a cow or a buffalo, for those wondering. It had no antlers. The head was distinctly canine. It was in the backwoods near Durham Chapel Hill Road, specifically, for those who were asking. Wow, that was a great story, man. It sounds like a dog man encounter. I've been, reading up on those, and me personally, I think they're just another form of Sasquatch, because the Sasquatches, they're similar to humans. They come in many varieties. They just like people. They're big, small. Some may have different facial features. But I'm still doing research on the dog man. So the more I find out, the more I'll tell you guys. But let's get to the next story. Okay, this next story comes from a guy from Henry County, Florida. Hello, my name is Josh. I live in the swampy deep woods parts of Henry County, Florida. I've had multiple strange occurrences around my property, mostly nocturnal, but that's another story. This story I'm going to tell you comes from a little place called Fish Eating Creek Campground. I was invited to go hunting with a buddy of mine last winter out there for hogs. We didn't see much, so we left out from Fish Eating Creek Campground and paddled upstream. We eventually made our way out to where we could make camp. As soon as night fell, and we had already set out a camp or two, I'd say we sat there till about 2 a.m. and we noticed the forest, usually full of bug noises, was completely silent. The kind of quiet that you just know isn't right. I turned to my buddy and we gave each other looks of fear and confusion, so we walked back to the tent. I'd say no more than 60 seconds passed, and we heard what sounded like something huge, absolutely booking it across the creek over our side about 10 feet and just stops. I heard a deep sign sound, and my buddy perked up to silently announce that he had heard it too. After that, we heard nothing, and the bug and critter noises came back. We didn't leave our tent till daylight. If you ever get the chance to visit Fish Eating Creek in Palmdale, Florida, stick to the campground after dark. If anyone has any similar experiences in that area or in general, I'd love to hear about it. Yeah, man, great story. It sounds like, a Sasquatch was pretty much just checking you guys out, kind of wanted to make his presence known. But yeah, man, that's a great story. Thank you guys. More coming soon. I'm out.